Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Russian teachers begin to flee Melitopol. There is a catastrophic shortage of school teachers in the Russian-occupied city of Melitopol because the majority of Melitopol residents refuse to collaborate with the Russian occupation regime. Meanwhile, the collaborators and those teachers that were brought in from Russia have already started to flee the city. Source: Ivan Fedorov, mayor of Melitopol, on Telegram. Quote from Fedorov: "No more teachers are left to brainwash children and teach them Russian propaganda in school number 13. Almost all teachers have quit. There is a total lack of staff in other schools controlled by the occupiers, to the extent that a Chechen soldier and a student of a fake university the Russians opened instead of the existing Melitopol universities were appointed as teachers in school number 16. 9 million tons of agricultural products shipped from unblocked Black Sea ports since the 1st of August. Ukraine has exported 9 million tons of agricultural products as part of the grain initiative." Source: Press service of the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine. 7 more vessels loaded with 102,000 tons of agricultural products left the ports of Chornomorsk and Pivdeny in Greater Odessa on Thursday, the 27th of October, as part of the initiative. The vessels are bound for the countries in Africa, Asia and Europe, including the Stella GS bulk carrier loaded with 30,600 tons of corn for Tunisia. Since the 1st of August, 397 ships have exported 9 million tons of Ukrainian agricultural products to the countries in Africa, Asia and Europe through the ports of Greater Odessa. The American aircraft carrier declared its readiness for the battle with the Russian Federation. The American aircraft carrier declared its readiness for the battle with the Russian Federation October 27, 2022 to 1340. The aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush, CVN-77, can take part in the battle with the Russians if necessary. The crew of the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush, CVN-77, with more than 70 aircraft, rotorcraft and other aviation equipment on board, is ready to fight Russia if necessary. The ship is currently assisting in testing NATO's defense capabilities, Sky News reports. In recent days, F-18 fighters took off from the aircraft carrier and flew towards the southern part of Europe, Lithuania and Poland, near the Russian border. NATO aircraft participated in a joint patrol mission together with warplanes of allied countries in warships. Rear Admiral Denis Velez, commander of the carrier strike group, said his crew is ready for any mission, and they demonstrate it every day. "We want peace, that's what everyone wants. We want the war in Ukraine to end, to return to stability, and to have a peaceful and stable Europe, but we are ready," Rear Admiral Denis Velez said. At least 2 Russian warships are known to have been observing from a safe distance the actions, which are part of a series of NATO activities. Ukraine's system of real-time monitoring of the battlefield Delta was presented at NATO Tide Spirit. Ukraine's digital system Delta, which integrates all intelligence, provides real-time monitoring of the battlefield and enhances interoperability, was presented at NATO Tide Spirit, think tank for information decision and execution superiority of NATO, that was scheduled for October 24 to 28, 2022. Ukraine's Delta platform was created at the Defense Technology Innovation and Development Center of the Ministry of Defense according to NATO standards. The co-founder of Aerorozvidka NGO, Lieutenant Colonel Yaroslav Honchar, whose team contributed to the development of the Delta system, emphasized that this victory is not at the tactical level of the battlefield. Ukrzaliznytsia is considering the possibility of creating a shunting traction operator. The 27th of October 2022, the management of UZ is considering the possibility of creating a company on the basis of PJSC, Kyiv-Dnipropetrovsk Interbranch Enterprise of Industrial Railway Transport, MPPZT, which will provide shunting traction services throughout Ukraine. It is reported by Railway Supply magazine with reference to Rail Insider. The management of the freight vertical of Ukrzaliznytsia has very ambitious plans to reform the structure of the vertical. Measures are being developed to identify individual operators by type of activity. Thus, the plans include the creation of a separate container carrier on the basis of the Liski branch, the creation of a terminal operator, based on existing transshipment complexes and warehouses at stations, creation of a separate port operator, on the basis of DN5 of the Odessa Railway, which will take care of the work of port railway stations. Even the creation of a separate company for the provision of shunting traction services throughout Ukraine, on the basis of the MPPZT and the shunting locomotive fleet of UZ, is being considered, said Valery Kachev, Deputy Director of the Department of Commercial Work of UZ. How one of the largest cargo terminals of KTZ works. He added that there are many other ideas, but all of them need to be well calculated, agreed with the board, and most importantly defended before the supervisory board of UZ, because we are talking about changing the organizational structure of the company. Currently, work in this direction continues, said Valery Kachev. Recall that 100% of the shares of PJSC, Kyiv-Dniprovskoy MPPZT, belongs to the state represented by the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine. MPPZT provides transport services for the transportation of goods from railway stations adjacent to the fronts of unloading and loading, shunting, loading and unloading, construction and modernization of track facilities, metrological services and other services related to the transportation of goods by rail. It ranks second after Ukrzaliznytsia in the industrial cargo transportation market segment with a 10% share. Switzerland to examine new German request to allow weapon re-exports to Ukraine. Ukrainian service members load shells into a tank at a position near a front line, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, outside the town of Bakhmut, Donetsk region, Ukraine, October 4, 2022. Reuters. Germany has made another request to neutral Switzerland to allow it to re-export Swiss-made ammunition to Ukraine to be used in its war against Russia, after being rebuffed earlier this year. A spokesman for the Swiss Economic Affairs Department said a letter on the topic had been received from the German Ministry of Defense, adding that Economic Affairs Minister Guy Parmelin will respond to this letter in a timely manner. The spokesman declined to comment if Ukraine had also made representations to the Swiss government. A spokesperson for the Defense Ministry in Berlin declined to comment on the letter, saying Germany was always in constructive talks with its partners. The country has supplied 30 Gepard tanks to Ukraine and some 60,000 rounds of ammunition. In April, Bern vetoed the re-export of Swiss-made ammunition used by Gepard anti-aircraft tanks. The 35mm shells were originally supplied by Swiss companies to the German army decades ago, but were blocked from re-export after the Swiss government said deliveries would breach Switzerland's neutrality law. Spelling out its position in June, the government said that, based on the export criteria described in the War Materiel Act and the principle of equal treatment under the law of neutrality, Switzerland cannot approve requests to transfer Swiss-produced war materiel to Ukraine. German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht has written to her Swiss counterpart, Viola Amherd, asking her to revise the decision, Swiss newspaper Tages-Anzeiger reported on Thursday. Ukraine has also appealed to Bern to allow the deliveries, the paper said. The 8-month conflict in Ukraine has seen Switzerland edge away from its normal stance of complete non-alignment, with Bern mirroring nearly all the sanctions that the European Union imposed on Moscow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.